Shri Satguru Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Satguru Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Satguru Bhagavan Sivanandaya Namaha. Om Shri Satguru Bhagavan Sivanandaya Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurudevo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jnanamulam Guror Murti Pujamulam Guror Padam Mantramulam Guror Vakyam Mokshamulam Guror Kripa. Mokshamulam Sivananda Kripa.
It's very important that we have a clear understanding of the place of the Guru in our life. I can only say from my own experience. When I first came into contact with Gurudev, I was looking for a Guru. And I'd gone to a shop, it was called a Vedic bookshop. And I was really longing and dying for a Guru. It was tremendous longing. They said, if you really long for a Guru, then he's going to come. So I had that tremendous longing. And I went to one of the local spiritual heads, but I was not happy at all. One day he said something that was not very pleasing. So when I went to the bookshop, I found so many books. And I found the book In the Vision of God by Swami. I clearly remember picking it up, looking at it and putting it back on the shelf. And then I went and picked up Gurudev's book called Practice of Karma Yoga. Not even really understanding what's the meaning of karma. At the moment I picked up the book, I knew that that was the master for me. And how the Guru shapes your life. You are going to get something when you leave tonight. So the little book I prepared, it is called Faith and Self-Surrender. I should have added one more word to that title. I should have called it Grace, Faith and Self-Surrender. Because all what you see here in our ashram is nothing but the grace of Gurudev, because everything was created by him. He planned, shaped and did everything. Whatever he wanted, he did. Just like when Swami Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna could just play with his mind. However careful Swami Vivekananda was, Ramakrishna was able to control his mind. Similarly, whatever Gurudev wanted to do, he did. And we are sitting here not because you want an ashram or I want an ashram, but it's because Gurudev wanted an ashram. So Divine Necessity's work is quite unique in that the Master himself planned everything and made us take birth in this country and entrusted us with the work that we are doing. I'll tell you why and how Gurudev changed the whole situation. When I was in the matric class, I was very ambitious. I was like our professor. I wanted to do my BSc and then MSc and then PhD and so on and so on. And I was always top in the matric class and very fond of mathematics. I would go to sleep with mathematics and wake up. That was always in a trance, always trying to solve some problems in mathematics. But when the exam came, I just couldn't answer the questions. The subject that was my favorite, that was so easy for me, geometry, I could never answer the riders. And even though I was coming out first, I expected a first class pass. And I said, if I get a first class pass, then I shall proceed with the degree, otherwise not. Nothing but a first class is good enough. And that's the first time that Gurudev failed me. And I couldn't answer the questions. I got so disgusted with myself. I knew that I would never get a first class. And I had got a second class metric, and that is why I'm sitting here today. Because had I got a first class metric, I would have gone to the university. They offered me a bursary. They offered me a bursary to go to Forte, but I was disgusted with the results and I refused the bursary and took to teaching. I said I would still do my degree and I was posted to escort. And that was the day, that was the time when Gurudev came into the scene. And you know what the first thing I did? The first thing, I packed up the lectures and I sent them away to the university. I was doing a correspondence course. And that is how it all started. See, so Gurudev can do whatever he likes. Now let us go on, because I'm telling you this so that we don't make the same mistakes. We all, in our approach to the Master, we make lots of mistakes. Because if you have a true relationship, then you'll make the progress that you're going to make. But intuitively I knew that Gurudev was a God-realized saint, and that was the first question I asked myself: is my Master a God-realized saint? And I knew that he was. What attracted me most was he was endowed with all the divine qualities: love, compassion, mercy. I think I could remember the first letter that I written. I said, Gurudev, you know all about me. And like all of us who are ambitious, the first thing I told Gurudev, I'd like to resign my job and I'd like to come away to the ashram. And Gurudev said, that is bubbling enthusiasm. And it was. The bubble burst. And Gurudev said, don't come. You must stay where you are. But I refused to obey him. I said, I'd like to come, I must come. And you know what Gurudev will say? If you refuse, if you are stubborn, then he'll say, cordial welcome. So that's what happened to me. I had a very cordial welcome. But the welcome was not, it only lasted 2 weeks. I left my friend, I thought I had very great dispassion. I didn't even understand what dispassion was. But the day I was leaving, tears were rolling down my eyes because I was thinking of my friends. Anyway, I landed in Rishikesh after a great struggle. In those days, the ship took about 3 weeks. And the fare was about, in rand, it was about 22 rand, a return trip. So I landed in Madras and got into a train. It was called the Grand Trunk Express. It was neither grand nor an express. Because absolutely no place to move. In India, you don't have to get into the train, you are pushed into the train. You just have to stand by the door and then everything will happen. So I was very fortunate that I had some friends who had been from Durban and they settled in Madras. Very marvelous friends. They were very kind to me, and so as soon as the train came in, one of them rushed inside and threw his cloth on the seat and said, "Booked." And then the passenger can take it leisurely, see, because your seat is already booked. And the train was completely packed. For 2 days and 2 nights, I had to just sit and put my head on my lap and sleep. You could neither move this side or that side. In any case, I landed at Rishikesh, and I remember Gurudev was sitting on the chair, and I told him I'm coming from South Africa, and automatically I went and prostrated. I never prostrated in my life, but it just came like that. And one of the first things Gurudev asked me was, "What is your caste?" And I didn't know my caste at all, so I said, "I don't know my caste," and he was quite pleased about that. And then we're dressed in pants, see, and then he asked me to wear dhoti. The next day he started telling everyone, "Now you look like an Indian." But in those days Gurudev was very, very taciturn. No one must follow him, and there was no music, see, in the hall. Now the time came for instructions, but I was also keen to learn. The first thing I asked Vishnu Swami to teach me all the mantras, and then Gurudev asked him to teach me the asanas, and I'd already practiced the asanas. And the first instruction that he gave was learn to make tea and learn to type. Isn't it clear instructions? But it must have a deep meaning. Learn to make tea. Look, going 8,000 miles to get instruction how to make a cup of tea. Is that yoga? And at least I've learned how to make a cup of tea and drink it also. But there must be some meaning in the masters. Maybe it implied serve people. So I did. In any case, I learned to make tea when I came back, but I did get a typewriter and I had a go at it, an old typewriter, but in 2 or 3 days I got bored stiff and I gave it up, and I would rather go and spend the time in Ramashram nearby, and I was spending the time reading the newspapers. And then one day Gurudev asked me to sing. Just imagine, we have never sung Kirtan, we don't know what it is. And fortunately for me, the previous day I heard a song, it was a Vedantic song, Brahmanandam, something on Brahmanandam. So I sang that song, and Gurudev said, "You are a Vedantin now." So anyway, I felt everything was queer and peculiar, and I was also annoyed because I couldn't get a box of matches. I wanted some matches and I couldn't get it, so I thought, so far I've come, and see, I couldn't get a box of matches in this place. In any case, whatever money I had, I'd given everything to Gurudev, and had practically nothing. And everything was strange, the food was strange, the climate and the people. So I thought that there's no use staying here because I have no qualifications, I'd better go back. So one day when Gurudev was walking, I said, "Gurudev, I got no qualification, I shall go back." No, he asked, I told him I shall go back. He said, "Why?" I said, "Gurudev, I got no qualifications." He said, "They will come." Then I asked him permission to go to Ananda Ashram and Ramana Ashram, and that's how I came back. And you all know the story how Gurudev wrote that I should start a Divine Life Society branch, and I didn't want to. And just by one day, I was held back in Durban, because as soon as I came back, my principal from Escort wanted me back there. But just one day ahead, the Reverend Paul Sykes from the TB settlement asked me to teach in the settlement, and I'd given him my word. So the next day when my principal came, I said, I'm sorry, I've given my word. So that is how I landed in Durban, a place that I didn't like. And all the rest was started by Gurudev. I refused to open a Divine Life Society branch because by nature I didn't want to mix with people. But Gurudev wrote a second letter and then a third letter and said, you are the secretary, and that's how it all started. But once it started, we had to get along. We used to go to the Amgeni Road temple, and gradually two other friends joined. One was a disciple of that Swami I mentioned yesterday, Swami Sahajananda of Bangalore. And often my two friends used to not come, but I should go to the temple, Amgeni Road temple, and conduct the satsang as if people were sitting. I should read the Bhagavad Gita and do all the Jai Ganesha Kirtan and do the Aarti and so on. And Gurudev said, if you are sincere, people are going to join you later on. Because I was afraid that if I ever disobey my master, then God realization is going to be out of the question. In those days we never had any books, we never had people to lecture to us on the importance of loyalty and devotion to the Guru. But perhaps it came to me from within. But Gurudev would never admonish, he would never scold, but after many such letters, he wrote back one day, don't be rebellious. Now I'll tell you also what else he wrote. Don't be rebellious. If you come here, you will have perhaps more difficulties. Beware. See? That is the Master's warning. And thank our Divine Master that I obeyed. Because he knew that I was trying to escape from my responsibilities. When I was teaching at Escort, everything was very pleasant. The children were very quiet, and you could leave the classroom for an hour or two and you'll never hear a sound. If the children walked into the classroom, they'll walk on tiptoes. But when I landed in Durban, the buzzing noise, the Gujarati children make a lot of noise. Every minute you got to be at them, and that buzzing noise was too much for me. And I was trying to get out of it. But Gurudev said, go, don't resign. And I kept on. It took him 5 years to give me permission. And that is how I resigned. So the Guru knows what is good in. It was only many years later, I thought that when I first entered the path, I thought it would be very easy, how easy it is to attain Samadhi. How wonderful, my Guru will be walking, I'll be going in the forest, and all lost in the state of Samadhi. It was so beautiful and so easy and so wonderful, but in a very short while I discovered how difficult it is. And then when I really understood that Gurudev wants us to attain peace of mind in the midst of difficulties, then my goal changed. And I found that it's far better to have problems and troubles and difficulties all around you and then try to attain the highest peace. That is something that is worthwhile, but much more difficult.
ज्ञान रूप पाहि मान ओम नमो भगवते शिवानंदाय 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 ओम नमो भगवते Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Shivanandaya.
An animated movie on the life of Swami Sivananda. Appaya Dikshitar was a great Saivite scholar saint of the 16th century. He has written many authoritative works on Vedanta in Sanskrit. He is regarded by many as an avatar of Lord Shiva. Once he went to Tirupati for having darshan of Lord Venkateshwara, Balaji, but
No. This is a Vaishnava temple. You should not enter. No, you can't go in. You are a Saivite. He seems to be a real devotee of God. Let him have darshan. What if he is a Saivite?
Lo, next morning when they opened the temple, they found to their dismay the murti of Venkateshwara was changed into the form of Shiva Linga.
Please pardon us and come in for darshan. And please change the murti back to Venkateshwara.
And when Apaya Dikshita went inside the temple for darshan, the murti was changed into Venkateshwara once again.
Lord, thou art an ocean of love.
Vengu Aya was a descendant of Apaya Dikshitar. He lived with his wife Parvati Amma at Patamade in Tirunelveli district in Tamil Nadu. They were simple, devout and religious. Kuppuswami was their third son. He was born on 8th September 1887.
Ah, what a beautiful child.
We had some good omens. Looks like Appaya Dikshitar reincarnate.
Let us call him Kuppuswami.
Love for God was inborn in little Kuppuswami. Kirtans had marvelous effect on him. He always participated with great interest in pujas, prayers and kirtans that his parents conducted. One evening, Vengu Aya was conducting kirtan.
Not an ordinary boy, so much devotion in one so young.
Kuppuswami rejoiced in giving and sharing. He distributed snacks generously to servants and beggars too, whenever he could. Crows and sparrows liked to eat out of his hands. Kuppuswami was very kind and compassionate towards the poor and needy. He was ever ready to help them. On a particular festive occasion, Kuppuswami wore new clothes. Shortly afterwards,
Ah, that beggar's need for clothes is more than mine. Here, wear this. Thank you so much, my boy.
Kuppu, why did you give your new dhoti to that beggar?
But he is so happy with it, Amma. See how proudly he wears it. And he needs it more than I do.
in school, Kuppuswami excelled in studies.
Can none of you answer my question?
Yes, sir, I can.
There is not a question that Kuppu cannot answer in class.
He also excelled in the playground.
Come on, boys, don't be lazy. Physical exercises build up a sturdy body.
I think this boy can do better than I in rounding up the boys for PT.
Once the governor, Lord Amthil, visited the Kurumala hills near Patamade.
Who will give the welcome address to the governor?
Not I, sir.
Why not, sir? Of course, I will.
On the important day,
Welcome, your lordship.
Boy is remarkable. He can speak so fearlessly.
young and boisterous Kuppuswami loved fun and adventure. One day at 3 o'clock in the early morning,
That looks like me, sleeping soundly.
Kuppuswami then slipped out of the house to practice gymnastics. A little later,
Kuppu, get up. The sun has risen. Siva, Kuppu is not in bed. Then, where is he? Oh, Kuppu, where are you?
Amma, here I am, returning after a refreshing early morning walk.
a few days later, Kuppuswami was again found missing at the morning puja time.
Kuppu is not to be seen. Wonder where his super energetic spirit has taken him.
Hope he returns for evening puja at least.
Meanwhile, Kupaswami had walked 12 miles away from home to the temple at Kazugumala.
Muruga, I left the house very early in the morning, even without telling my mother, just to have your darshan.
Kupaswami spent a good part of the day at the temple. Evening puja and even supper were over. It was time to retire to bed, and Kupaswami's parents were worried. Suddenly,
I am sorry to have caused you worry. I like to wander off and visit far-off temples. I had been to Kazugumali.
12 miles. Were you not hungry and tired?
I didn't mind having to go hungry.
Strange boy.
henceforth, Kupaswami went away on his own, offered to visit holy places nearby. In 1905, Kupaswami passed his intermediate examination from the SPG College to Kinapolli. After that,
I'm going to do a degree course in arts.
Arts is not interesting.
My line is science. I'll make discoveries that will shape the world.
Why dream of moving the world? Our hearts should move at the sight of suffering in the world. I shall do medicine and try my best to reduce the suffering of my fellow men.
at home,
Kupu, for a boy of our community, a doctor's profession is not suitable.
What do you say, Appa?
I see that you have quite made up your mind. I shall not stand in your way.
Thank you, Appa.
Kupaswami joined the Tanjore Medical College and began studying with a lot of interest and zeal.
This first year student should not be allowed in here.
He is a remarkable student. He has obtained special permission to be here.
At recess time in college,
How Kupu enjoys his recess.
He is very intelligent. I always go to him whenever I have any doubts.
when holidays came,
Kupu, when are you going home? Don't you want to enjoy your holidays?
I am staying back in college. Studies are my enjoyment.
every day Kupaswami used to read till late at night, but he was also fond of gymnastics and vigorous exercises. So he started learning fencing from a teacher who was an untouchable by caste.
Okay, your attack is correct. Now take this and defend yourself.
Yes, I am ready.
Oh, Kupu, how can you, a caste Brahmin, become a student of an untouchable? Stop it!
When he returned home, Kupaswami deeply pondered over what the Brahmin said. In a moment, he had an amazing mental vision, in which he saw Lord Shiva, whom he worshipped in his father's puja room, emerge from there and entered into the heart of the untouchable. At once, Kupaswami went with flowers, sweets, and clothes, garlanded the untouchable, placed flowers at his feet, and fell prostrate before him. Thus did God come into Kupaswami's early life to remove the veil of caste distinction, which was very prevalent then, and enabled him later on as a doctor to serve the sick and poor without the least distinction of caste. Kupaswami emerged with flying colors from the medical college. He realized that lack of knowledge of health and hygiene was the cause of people's suffering. So he started a journal entitled Ambrosia from Tiruchirappalli, which gained popularity within a short time.
Prevention is better than cure.
He then moved to Madras. He began working in a pharmacy in addition to editing the Ambrosia, but he was not content.
I hear opportunities for service in Malaya are very good. I must contact my friend there.
Kupaswami broached the subject at home.
I'd like to widen my horizons. Say, by taking up a job in Malaya?
Oh, how can you leave us all and go so far away?
But Amma, I shall always remember you and return soon.
My son, I'll miss you.
Crossing the seas is prohibited in the Shastras.
I am going across the sea to serve humanity. Shastras shall not stand in my way. Bless me, sir.
You have made a daring decision, my son. God be with you in your noble mission. What determination!
The day of his departure soon arrived.
Wish you all success.
Kupu, take some of your favorite laddus for the journey.
Thank you, Amma.
Kupaswami had no experience of sea travel.
Oh, I'm a vegetarian. I can't swallow this non-vegetarian food.
We have no other food on board, sir.
These delicious laddus and water shall be my only food then.
By the end of the journey, Kupaswami got sick, eating laddus for breakfast, lunch, as well as for dinner. During the journey, Dr. Kupaswami volunteered to help the passengers.
Your child seems to be sick. Let me treat him.
How kind of you, sir.
How useful it is to have a doctor on board.
But how many will come forward and render services so kindly and free of cost?
After several days at sea, the ship reached Singapore. Dr. Kupaswami proceeded then to Seremban and met Mr. Robbins.
Can you manage the entire hospital all by yourself?
I can manage even 3 hospitals.
Dr. Kupaswami was immediately given an appointment at the Senawang Rubber State Hospital. At the hospital, Dr. Kupaswami treated the patients with care and kindness.
The new doctor is a gem of a man. We have never had such a wonderful doctor so far. He's everybody's friend.
Soon he rose in the esteem of not only the patients but also his fellow doctors, his superiors as well as the hospital staff. It was midnight. Dr. Kupaswami just then returned home after attending an urgent case.
Please tell the doctor my wife needs very urgent attention. She is having labor pains and is very critical.
Not at this odd hour. In this pouring rain, come tomorrow.
No, I shall go now. Keep my motorcycle ready.
Immediately, the doctor took the worker on his motorcycle and rushed to his house. The lady was crying in great agony.
I have done my best, but my services may be needed till delivery takes place. Let me wait, praying.
Dr. Sahebji, it is 4 o'clock in the morning. Please go and take some rest. Thank you very much.
Safe delivery. Mother and child are well. Dr. Kupaswami's charitable and helping nature was so all-encompassing that his name was known throughout the length and breadth of Malaya.
I came in search of a job to this country.
Oh, don't worry. Go to Dr. Kupaswami at Johor. He will do everything for you.
He went to Johor and met Dr. Kupaswami.
Sir, I came for a job. I am penniless. I need your help.
Please, treat this as your own house and stay with me till you get a job. I will fix you up.
Some time passed, then people began to notice a change in Dr. Kupaswami.
The cheerful doctor is more thoughtful.
and pensive these days.
Oh, this unhappy world, full of sorrow, how to attain peace and happiness here? Spiritual darlings, you can watch the rest of the movie if you attend Sunday schools and yoga camp.
Beauty is God. Oh Mohan, look at the rose. How beautiful is it? What a fine fragrance it has. You love it. You pluck it and smell it. Can a scientist produce a rose? You can make a paper flower which may look beautiful, but it will have no sweet fragrance. The rose soon fades and loses its beauty and fragrance. You then throw it away. Its beauty lasts only for a few days. It does not last forever. Who created this beautiful flower? The Creator is God. He is the beauty of beauties. His beauty is everlasting. Get His vision, then you also will possess a beauty that will last forever. The beauty that you see in people and in things around you is really the beauty of God. Always think carefully and seek the beauty of God, because His divine beauty does not decay and fade away like that of a rose.
Om. God loves you. God loves you. He gives you many good things. He gives you food to eat and clothes to wear. He has given you ears to hear, eyes to see, a nose to smell, tongue to taste, hands to feel and work, and legs to walk. You cannot see God with your fleshy eyes, but He sees you all the time. He takes care of you. He knows all that you think and do. God is ever kind and merciful. Love Him. Sing His glories. Repeat His divine name at all times. Pray to Him to protect you from all sins and dangers. If you always remember Him, He will be pleased with you. He will bless you with success in all you do.
The golden rules. Obey your parents. Speak the truth always. Be punctual. Never utter a lie. Always be neat, clean, and tidy. Be good and do good. Be a hero. Help the poor and the needy. Do your daily duties with care. Learn your lessons well. Respect your elders and teachers. Serve society. Never shirk duty. Do not put off anything for tomorrow. If you do your duty well, the battle of life will be won. You'll be ever happy. Be ever active. Selfless service, sacrifice, and love for all must be your mottos. Lead a simple, pure, and noble life, and be a good example to others. Be polite and courteous. Never injure the feelings of others. Never utter harsh words. Speak sweetly, speak softly, speak little. Never see the faults and defects of others. Never indulge in backbiting.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Be honest. Be honest in even small affairs. Honesty is the most important virtue. An honest child is trusted by all. He is respected by all. He attains success and promotion in his place of work. God will bless an honest child. If you are always frank and honest in all that you do, your conscience will always be clear. You will have good sleep. You will be ever peaceful and courageous. You will have good health also. The gate of heaven will be open for you. Do not take bribes. It is a dishonest practice. It is a great sin. You will have to suffer for this wicked action. Live within your means. If you lead a simple life, you will not need much money. You will not have to borrow money from others. Then nothing will tempt you to make bribes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate.
Om. Become a good child. Dear Govinda, do not fight with your brothers and friends. Obey your parents and teachers. Do not smoke. This is a bad habit. You will get diseases if you smoke. Give up evil company. Do not use vulgar words. Do not abuse anyone. Be kind to all. Serve all. Love all. Respect elders. Do not steal anything. Do not do anything by stealth. Do not hurt anyone. Speak gently. Speak sweetly. Be punctual in attending school. Study your lessons well. Try to stand first in class. Do not spend much time in play. Do not harm or kill any creatures. Do not waste time.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Live wisely. Minus skin, minus dress, minus ornaments, physical beauty is nothing. Just imagine for a moment, though the outer skin is removed, you will have to stand with a long stick to drive away crows and vultures. Physical beauty is superficial, illusory and fading. It is skin deep only. Do not be deluded by external appearances. It is jugglery of Maya. Go to the source Atma, the beauty of beauties, the everlasting beauty. If your hairs become grey, there is the first warning from Lord Yama, warrant from Lord Yama, the god of death. You must get yourself ready to meet him. The wrinkles on the face and the bending of the body will remind you of the warrant. When the teeth fall and the eyesight becomes dim, you must be fully prepared to greet him. You will get 3 hiccups or final passing of breath lying on the bed. When the last hiccup comes, all your possessions will be taken away by your son and partners. One will run after the savings bank book, another will take hold of the cash chest, the third your provident fund papers and insurance claims, the fourth of the ornaments that lie on your person and so on.
Such is life on the earth plane. Why can't you see that the money is well spent for your spiritual progress and the service of the poor and the Mahatmas? Friends, try to attain immortality through devotion, meditation, purity, service, japa, prayer and inquiry. All troubles and miseries will come to an end. O nectar sons, enough of this mundane life, enough of this life of passion in this earth plane. You have spent your whole life, energy and time in obtaining material wealth, power, name and fame. All your efforts have gone in vain. All your wealth is only a broken shell when compared with the inexhaustible or supreme wealth of Atma. Obtain this spiritual wealth, give up this vain selfish struggle. You are walking too long with passionate eyes in this universe. Give up this lustful look. Meditate, look within now and behold the marvelous self and be free. Atman or Brahman or Supreme Self is the hidden treasure, it is a pearl of incalculable value, it is a jewel of jewels, it is a gem of gems, it is imperishable, inexhaustible, supreme wealth which no decoys can rob. It is Chintamani of Chintamanis that will give man whatever he wishes. Brahman is beyond speech, time and causation. It is limitless, it is tranquil and shines with equal effulgence in all bodies. It cannot be a particular thing. It is Chaitanya or pure consciousness. It is Vastu. It is Sachidananda. Knowing the nature of Brahman or Atman as such, attain freedom or perfection. Think yourself bodiless, identify yourself with the supreme peace and eternal bliss of your all-pervading soul. May you all live the divine life, sharing what you have with others, singing Lord's name, rejoicing in Him alone, and melting the mind in the Supreme Self. Om.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sivanandaya.